Documentation and a lot of, kind of bouncing things off of them bouncing things off of us on how we get where we want to be.
What items that we can see here in the restaurant would follow these guidelines?
Well, basically, this is one of those buildings where everywhere you look, there is a pretty interesting story. Starting from, building systems, everything in the building electric is Energy Star or better. That goes from the smallest computer to the great big HVAC that heats and cools the building. Lighting is done through LED lighting and dimmable CFL lighting. Technology kind of catching up with the aesthetic is allowing us to do some things that a few years ago would probably be either cost prohibitive or just wouldn't look right. Everything as far as paints and sealants, stains, adhesives, everything is low or zero VOC.
Which means it is non-polluting to the environment?
That's right. The environment can mean a lot of things, and we are dealing with a lot of people coming through this building, and that's the first environment we have to take care of, is making sure that the air in here is clean and that there's no nasty chemicals floating around. So there's very little carpeting in the building, but what we do have is zero VOC, off-gassing.
And I understand in this particular room, you've used carpet samples that have all been put together to form this fabulous looking floor.
It's kind of a pet project of mine. And as a designer, the first job was to make it a beautiful restaurant that is a great place to come and have a meal. Other than that, we're also green designers. So we wanted to do something that was informative but also functional. So what we did do was, through a nonprofit that I work with, we collect up the samples that architects and interior designers collect up to see the colors, see the designs that they want to use. After a year or two, those designs, as fashion goes, do go out of style.
Go out of style, yeah.
And those items are usually, a few of them might get used as a car mat or to put the dog bowl on, but pretty much those samples get tossed.
But here they've gotten new life.
New life. I had the scatterbrain idea, let's make a patchwork quilt. The interior of the restaurant is influenced by a lot of things. We wanted to reflect the Cleveland aesthetic, the history, but the industry and some of those elements. The technique for the food is French, and so there's definitely a southern France sort of farmhouse feel to some of the things. There's some elements that kind of have an Art Nouveau feel to them. And then we wanted to have some things that were very contemporary. So this French-inspired sort of patchwork quilt for the floor.
Well, it all works. I can tell you, it all works. Can you tell me a little bit about how you source your produce?
Absolutely. The core belief of the food is that a restaurant's quality is directly influenced by how far that food has to travel and how fresh that food is before it hits the plate. The Cuyahoga Valley, which Cleveland is a part of, is a very historic, bountiful, breadbasket for this
great farmland.
Yeah. We found that if you're really smart about it and you did your homework, you could find the best beef, the best pork, the best lamb, all these things grown right here in Ohio. And also the produce itself is pretty wonderful here in this state.
And it tastes that much fresher.
It doesn't sit on a truck, it doesn't sit on a train. We have wonderful new organizations that are helping these small farms kind of aggregate and broker their goods so they can serve us on this scale. It's easy to say for my home or for a restaurant of 40 seats, we can get things straight from a small farmer. But when you go into 100 and 150 and 160 seats, that's where the scale becomes almost punishing to the small farmer, because you could eat up all their lettuce in a week. So through these new conduits, we have a unique opportunity to make sure that a lot of farmers can contribute and that we never go without
and that it's reliable.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, when push comes to shove, it's all about the food. So can we taste a little of the kitchen cuisine?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
I'll have the man himself. There's two chef owners, and Jonathan Seeholzer will give you an idea of what we do here.
Can't wait. Okay, figures you guys would show up in time for dinner.
You know it, so come on over and join us.
Debbie, come sit down.
Well, ladies, this is Jonathan Seeholzer. He is chef and the co-owner of the Greenhouse Tavern.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Well, Chef, this looks fabulous.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about what we have here?
You have our roasted Ohio peaches wrapped in bacon with some red onion soubise, blue cheese, and arugula. And then right here we have Ohio goat with a little chili flake, arugula, and a little bit of breadcrumb and Romano cheese. And then our Ohio beef burger with palm frites, roasted garlic, rosemary, and our house-made Belgian beer vinegar.
Great. Thank you, Chef.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Suzanne, this has been the perfect ending to a perfect day.
That's for sure.
Well, before we dine, a toast to the green life.
To the green
life. Woo!
Want to find out more about the Farm to Table sustainability movement? Go to greenongreen.tv and click on the sustainability icon.
Wow, what a fabulous day. You know, the Ohio Solar Tour is a great way to find out what people are doing to incorporate green practices in their businesses and their homes. And you might say, I can't afford solar panels. I can't afford wind turbines in my backyard. But you know what? You can make a difference. It's possible, absolutely. Just a small effort makes a big difference. If every day each of us can make one tiny little step to get closer to living a green life. Doing simple things like using rechargeable batteries and recycling cans and plastic bottles. Then we will be a giant leap closer to a healthy, sustainable planet. If we teach our children and grandchildren that it is really easy and fun to be green, we will end up passing on to them the tools they need to maintain a cleaner environment and a healthier place to live. For the Green on Green team, I'm Suzanne Green. Let's all keep thinking green. Right now, the great place. Because you don't live there. Okay.
Keep it interesting.
And I would like to know.